you ever looked at a world map and realized that America is everywhere? 750 military bases, spread across more than 80 countries. That's more than any empire in human history, more than the British Empire at its peak, more than the Roman Empire, or even the Mongols. But why? Why does a country thousands of miles away from most major conflict zones feel the need to be everywhere? Let's rewind to 1945. World War II has just ended. Europe and Asia are in ruins. But the United States? It's untouched, victorious, and economically booming. This is when the seeds were planted. To prevent future global wars and to protect democracy, the US began establishing permanent military bases, first in defeated nations like Germany and Japan, then in strategically important spots like South Korea, the Philippines, and the Middle East. From the outside, it looked like peacekeeping. But on a world map, something more interesting begins to emerge, a slow, steady expansion of power. Then came the Cold War. The Soviet Union emerged as the US's primary rival, and the new American strategy? Encircle and contain. Military bases cropped up in Turkey, Greece, West Germany, and throughout the Pacific. If you look at the map during this time, you'll see US bases forming a visible ring around the USSR, not just for defense, but for surveillance, influence, and first strike potential. The number of bases exploded to more than 2,000 by the late 60s. Fast forward to the 1990s. The Soviet Union collapses. You'd think the US might scale back. But the opposite happens. The Gulf War, the invasion of Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and Syria. Each conflict adds new dots to the map. Instead of closing old bases, new ones were added, some temporary, most permanent. By 2020, the Pentagon admitted to 750 military installations outside US soil, not counting secret or temporary ones. So why so many bases? Let's break down the reasons. First, global security. Many supporters say these bases allow the US to respond to threats instantly, be it natural disasters, terrorism, or regional instability. In 2011, for example, American bases in Japan were critical in responding to the tsunami and Fukushima disaster. Bases in the Indian Ocean have helped fight piracy off Somalia's coast. From a map, it looks like a global safety net. Second, economic interests. Many bases conveniently sit near oil fields, shipping routes, or mining zones. Think about it. Bases in Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Central Asia are all located near critical fossil fuel reserves. This strategic positioning not only ensures energy access, but also guarantees influence over key economic corridors that many nations rely on for trade and development. Third, geostrategic advantage. Bases aren't randomly placed, they form a chessboard. Around China alone, US bases stretch from South Korea and Japan to Guam, the Philippines, and Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. This isn't just defense, this is pressure. It's a reminder to any rising power, we're watching. And finally, the military-industrial complex. As Eisenhower warned in 1961, the US defense sector is a machine that feeds on itself. The more bases, the more logistics, weapons, personnel, and contracts are required. Defense companies like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon thrive off this system. Politicians are funded, voters are told it's about safety. The cycle continues. But while America expands its footprint, what about the people living around these bases? In Okinawa, Japan, protests have erupted for decades. Locals demand the removal of US troops, citing environmental damage, crime, and noise. In Diego Garcia, an entire native population was evicted in the 1970s to make way for a massive US naval base. In Germany, Italy, and South Korea, US soldiers are a visible, sometimes resented presence. These aren't just dots on a map, they're realities for millions of people. So what does the future look like? With rising powers like China and regional rivals like Iran or North Korea, the US isn't closing bases, it's adding more. In 2023, new deals with the Philippines allowed access to more naval outposts near the South China Sea. In Guam, underground fuel storage is being expanded to prepare for potential conflict with Beijing. On a satellite map, the US military presence is growing, not shrinking. And that brings us to a bigger question. Are these bases really about defense, or are they about dominance, control, influence? No other country comes close to this level of global reach. China has one overseas base in Djibouti. Russia? Less than 24. America? 750 and counting. It raises uncomfortable questions about the modern world order. Is the US a benevolent protector or the quiet ruler of a global empire? Now, I want to hear from you. Are these military bases the price of global stability or the tools of silent occupation? Tell me in the comments. And if this video gave you a new way to look at the world map, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.